All right. Well, I want to thank everyone who's joined us tonight. Our presentation will be run by Blake Messer from the Des Moines Normandy Park Club. I'm Kirk Laughlin, and I'm the treasurer at the U District Club, and I'll be tech support. So in just a second here, I will turn things over to Blake, and you won't have to listen to me anymore. But first off, I want to start off by thanking everyone who made this online festival of training possible. So I want to thank District Trainer Gene Withers, DG Bill McElroy, DGE Kathy Gibson, and DGN Howard Cohen, who I think are all on this session. So I'm glad I remembered to say all your names. But we really appreciate how quickly you had to pull together this very ambitious series of trainings to occur online. And if you have it, you could thank them right now in the chat, because if you have other opportunity to thank them, please do. I'm going to do a few housekeeping things. So we're in webinar mode, so you are all muted, and you are permitted to submit questions in the Q&A bubble at the bottom of your screen. If you're not on a laptop, you may need to, and you're on a mobile device, you may need to touch your screen to see the menu options come up. But there's a Q&A bubble at the bottom, and if you enter your questions there, we will answer them, or I'm saying Blake will answer them at the end of the session. This session is being recorded and will be sent to you by link to a secure YouTube, private YouTube channel. And you'll get that email in a day or two. And if for some reason you get bounced off, just log back in. That's the best way to do it. And if you have any technical questions or any trouble that I can perhaps help you with, you can put that in the chat. So anything for the general group or something you want me to see to be of assistance, you can put in the chat line. But put your questions in the Q&A, because they're easier to track there. So I think that's it. I think I've covered everything. Blake, you got anything else you want me to introduce?
Well, just more housekeeping here. With the owner of a blue Subaru Impreza, please shut your lights off in the park. It's virtual. Sorry. No, I'm ready to go. Kirk, should I take charge?
Yeah, take it away.
All right. Well, this is one of the slides that you'll see often in this virtual presentation, which I'm very humbled and honored to be a part of, with so many great presentations already and so many more coming up here. If you haven't logged in and spoken for seats and registered at some of these other presentations, I definitely recommend that you do that. The vision of Rotary International: together we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities, and in ourselves. I think that's something we can all get behind. Before we get rolling here today, if you know me, you know that in the face of the most uncertain economic future in America's history, I have decided to grow a facial experiment. So please forgive the Grizzly Adams thing here. It's a new thing. I don't know if it's going to last. First opportunity I have to go to a proper barber, I think I'm going to give him a shot, and then I'll shave it all off, because it's hot, it's itchy. I'm not a fan of the beard so far. Put that down on the record there for me, Kirk, please. So let's talk about it. Yeah, let's talk about the elephant in the room, coronavirus, and all that's going on. Never in the history of humankind has any one thing united so many people, 7.8 billion people, all feeling something. They all have feelings about this thing. And it is the same feeling, fear. We're hunkered down. We don't know what's going to happen with our business, our paycheck, our family. Do we have enough food? How on earth could any Rotary Club ever be expected to grow membership in the face of one of the biggest moments that our world has ever faced? And, absolutely an obstacle. But I have really been inspired by a lot of different Rotary Clubs recently, and just business people, citizens in the community, people at large, who are using this terrible obstacle as an opportunity. What would it look like right now if all of us on this call, who all have access to our own club's Facebook page, after this session, got on our Facebook page and said something to the effect of, the Rotary Club of Mill Creek, the Rotary Club of Maple Valley, the Rotary Club of the U District, the Rotary Club of Des Moines and Normandy Park is right now assembling community leaders to solve the urgent needs of our community in this very sensitive time. We need you. If you want to be the change you want to see, if you want to be a part of this community, if you want to be a leader, now is the time. We need you. Email, call, click, do whatever the next thing is in your click funnel to get that person in there. I wonder if we all did that on this call right now after this. And by the way, I know enough people on this call to know that if you are not the Facebook admin or you don't have the keys to your club's Instagram, you're one phone call away from doing that. What if we put that opportunity wrapped in the disguise of an obstacle message on Facebook tonight? I wonder, I would be surprised if we didn't walk away with a brand new Rotarian, or at least a new person prospective Rotarian at our next Thursday Zoom meeting. So congratulations to you for persevering and continuing to be a Rotarian in this uncertain time. And I hope that I spend your time wisely here tonight. So let's get into it. Here's what my agenda looks like. I'm going to talk about membership, what they're buying, and what we're selling. We'll talk a little bit about what we learned from recent Rotarians who left Rotary clubs in District 5030 inside of the past 4 years, what they had to tell us and why some of them left. Then I'd like to offer some ideas on how we might use that information going forward to guide the spirit and the direction of our club. If so many people told us the same thing and we ignore that thing, I think that's short-sighted for any Rotary club. So I'd invite you to take a good look and examine what you're doing at your own club level to make things more inclusive, to make sure that we're honoring every Rotarian, that we're always following that four-way test, which is the compass for us as Rotarians. And then we're going to look to our past to inform our future. I am dead set. My eyes are open in terms of who our target demo is as Rotary, as a Rotary club, as an organization. And the good news is for all of us in Rotary is going to get younger. I'm going to show you how. All right, so let's talk about what we're selling versus what they're buying. In advertising, the field and the craft that I'm in, we have a saying, I'm sure you've heard it. It goes something like this: always sell the sizzle, don't sell the steak. Sell the sizzle, not the steak. What are we talking about there? Well, I could sell, as the butcher, I could sell the bloody piece of meat that we keep in the back under refrigeration. There you go. Would you like to buy that? Or I could sell that flaming, sizzling fajita that goes behind your head that just wafts right into your nostrils while you're dining at a Mexican restaurant. Which would you buy? The sizzling steak or the bloody meat? What are we selling? Well, we could be selling the thing that we have always sold. I mean, I have sponsored a lot of Rotarians over the years. And I remember in my early days how I used to approach bringing new people into Rotary. And it was all there was no malice. It was just all good feelings about Rotary and wanting these people to come in. And my pitch line to them was, Rotary, service above self. And we've got the four-way test and we help kids. And on top of that, there's something to do with polio. And by the way, Paul Harris made an outhouse in 1914 with 3 other guys. It didn't really, it was the steak. It wasn't the sizzle. What are they buying? Well, and this was reinforced by that Gail Siegel study that was conducted a while back. But moreover, this is absolutely what I have learned inside of this past year about why Rotarians stay in Rotary and why they are attracted to Rotary. It's very simple. It is the need to be needed. Every Rotarian who has been in Rotary for more than a cup of coffee is there because they feel needed, right? And that is the sizzle that we need to sell. We need you. Here's what we need you for. Are you willing to do this? They say leadership is a choice. Yeah, Simon Sinek talks a lot about that. In fact, I've rewritten this is just for me. Now, you can use this if you want, but this is just my own personal elevator pitch. Whenever I find a professional who I feel is cut from the right kind of Rotary cloth, they're of the ilk of Rotarians, that's when I sell. Yeah. And I sell what I think more people are buying than just the backstory of Rotary or the tenets and the moral compass of what we are. The four-way test is what we do. That's who we are. We need to continue to follow that. But it's not the thing that is attracting new Rotarians to Rotary. And so with that, I'm going to give you really quick my elevator pitch. Anytime I find a new professional or anybody that when I ask them if they know anything about Rotary, they tell me no, this is how I reply. What is Rotary? Rotary is community leaders who exchange ideas and take action. We are not interested in gaining followers. We are finding leaders to create more leaders. See, in Rotary, we know that leadership is a choice. And in Rotary, you can be the leader in which you wish you had. You might ask, what does Rotary do? Well, on a large scale, we improve the lives of people who live right here in our community. But on the big scope, we save lives of people all around the world. We come together to creatively solve problems, all while becoming family. We set aside petty differences to help others. We see diversity as a strength. We foster integrity in all things, and we put service above self, all while we have Governor Bill McElroy's most important three-letter word, fun. Rotary is peacemakers. We are game changers. We're a collective of rebels who dare to keep our promise of a polio-free world. You pay for all of this work, you might ask? We pay you handsomely in goosebumps and unshakable friendships with people that you will be proud to know as friends for the rest of your life. It's been said by a wiser fellow than myself, the two most important days in a person's life are the day that you're born and the day that you find out why. The world needs Rotary. District 5030 needs Rotary, and Rotary needs you. That's my elevators speech when I'm talking about Rotary. Now, obviously, I wrote that down. I've got something a little less tenable memorized. But if we start selling the sizzle and not the steak, if we only, and by the way, everything I said in there is falls in line with the spirit of the four-way test. It's exactly who we are as Rotarians. We need to set modesty aside. I know that doesn't jive well with a lot of longstanding Rotarians because, you know, we are a club of austerity. Yeah. Professionals who come together to set aside our own personal gain to help other people. That's us. That's who we are. But we need to be ready to sell the sizzle when it comes to this thing because, yes, they will buy four-way test, Paul Harris, Outhouse, 1914. But if we say we need you for this one very specific project, would you be willing to come in and donate time or come in on Wednesday, learn more about what we've got going on? I'd love to put you to work. The need to be needed. It's a very powerful thing. So a lot of times when we're talking to prospective Rotarians, and I'll veer down this path for just a little bit, you will hear, it's great what you guys are doing in Rotary, but I already volunteer at my church. I volunteer at my food bank once every couple of months, or I volunteer with Cub Scouts. Those are the people. That objection that we're hearing about why we can't have that person in our Rotary Club is exactly the type of person we need in Rotary. So if this is what you're hearing, and I've heard this so many times, I've approached, I've signed a lot of new people into Rotary and I've sponsored plenty of people, but I've certainly struck out more than I've succeeded at bringing new people in. And many, many, many times when I say, we are this great organization and we need you, would you be interested in learning more about Rotary? Oftentimes I hear, I would, but I'm busy volunteering at fill in the blank. And this is, I found this a while ago and I've actually incorporated this into my Rotary membership game. If you know me, I'm passionate about membership. I'm passionate about Rotary growth. And I'm only that way because I believe in us collectively and what we're doing and what this motivation is. We want to help people. Strangers matter. We're willing to spend the extra time. I don't know what it costs, a couple $1,000s a year with meals and dues and all of the extra stuff that's going on. It's going to consume a lot of time. If we sold them that may not be the thing. But if we sold them on the fact that right now kids are depending on this to happen or what that next thing is, if we sold more of that sizzle, we might do it. If you hear the objection, I am busy volunteering and I already support X, you might reply back with this. And I think this is really at the heart of what makes Rotary so special. There's an old saying that I'm sure you've heard, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And when you think about it, it's really what it's all about, right? If you have somebody who's interested in volunteering already, and they already volunteer once every couple of months at their local food bank or at their local church, that's wonderful. But I know, and I'm sure you know as well, that with consistent volunteer opportunities, that one person who is altruistic by nature and willing to help other people will plug in more often. They'll become more of a leader in that field. This is absolutely contagious, what we do, Rotary. And if we can give people that opportunity, to the need to be needed, and then fulfill that need, we'll go farther. So if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, you got to figure out how to compromise and work together and make this thing do what it can. So in the coming year, in the coming months, you might be inundated with all different kinds of leads, and Bailey will be serving leads in 2020, 2021 to you via Rotary International. These are great sources that come in directly from people who are filling out forms to get more information about becoming a Rotarian. And I've talked to hundreds of people over the past year of Rotarians. I've probably, if you're a membership chair, I'm sure I talked to you at some point in this past year, and maybe I've even assigned one of these membership leads from Rotary International. If you are in club leadership in any way, I can only, I can't suggest that you do this any stronger, that you, as these new Rotary International leads pour into your Rotary meeting, work to make these people feel welcome. They are raising their hands. They're answering the call right now. That need to be needed, they've taken action on this. And so they're much more of a warm prospect to come on and come on board and join us in the good work that we're doing. And I've got some ideas on how you might grow your individual club leads as well, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But first, to the topic at hand, the survey that we conducted back in September of 2019. We reached out to 1,688 past Rotarians who had gone away for one reason or another, and it was something that Governor Bill, Governor Kathy, incoming Governor Howard asked that we facilitate. Reached out to them and just said, hey, we'd love to hear from you. Here's a very brief survey. And the results were really wonderful. I mean, I feel like we're operating from a position of data. We've got the information. Now we can take action. And so I'm going to show you what we learned over this time. It was all about Reactivate Rotary, and the survey was developed and built with reactivating Rotarians who went away inside of the past 4 years for one reason or another. And if we can use this survey to inform how we might operate going forward, I think it'll serve every club in District 5030 better. And I'll expand on that as we go. So every single club had Rotarians that we polled all about why they left Rotary. These were just some of the responses. So if you have been in Rotary for a few years, chances are you knew some of the people who filled out this survey response, even though they'll remain anonymous. So one of the questions we asked was, can you see yourself returning to Rotary? Interesting question. Out of 1,668 people that we asked that question to, we had 69% of the volume of people who responded to the survey say, yes, I would be interested in returning to Rotary. Of course, we made some phone calls to all of those Rotarians individually, worked to try to get them into a different club. 19%, and forgive me, Kirk, I'm going to exit out of this for just a second and see if I can move my bar. I can't work on these slides by heart, so I need to be able to see what I wrote here. Here we go. 19% stayed in Western Washington. Meanwhile, 21% moved out. Well, there's nothing we could do about the 21% who moved away from the district. But for those people who stayed in Western Washington, the fact that we didn't work to seamlessly transition them from the Rotary Club in Federal Way to the Rotary Club in Shoreline, that's a mistake, that a missed opportunity that we had. And so as you have Rotarians leave, and that's bound to happen, every club, every year, somebody comes, somebody goes. You know the drill. We might spend a little extra time making a warm shake happen between the membership chair and the president of the community, of the club, where the Rotarian that's leaving our club is going to. I think that's just good karma. It's going to come on back to you here as other Rotarians from other places in Western Washington return. 19% is a big cross-section of people who are not right now actively involved in Rotary, but are in a community in which this district resides. They're not in the game right now. And so that's a missed opportunity. We might spend more time with outgoing Rotarians, understand why they're leaving, and if they're leaving to another community in Western Washington, do all that we can to get them into a club before their boxes are unpacked in that new market. 9% of the survey respondents told us that they were too busy with work to continue their good work with Rotary. And let's see here, I gotta move my Zoom presentation slides here again, Kirk, I apologize.
It's fine.
There we go. 11% said that they were just simply too busy, indicated that they were too busy with family. Understood. I'm busy with work. So are you. You're here, though. I've got a family. So do you. But we're here. What are they saying? If I had to read between the lines, and that's all this is just pontification, prognostication. I don't know that this is not based in reality, but if I had to read into these numbers, I would say that what they're really saying to us by saying, I'm just too busy with work, I'm just too busy with other sundry things that I'm going on, or important things that are going on in my life. What they're really saying to us is, I believe the stuff that I'm doing outside of Rotary is more important than what I'm doing in Rotary. And they're not saying that every single time, and of course there are exceptions, but I would suspect that some of these people, the 9% that were just too busy with work, thought that they would gain more out of time not in Rotary than in Rotary. Now, the truth is every single club has a multitude of different fundraisers, a multitude of different beneficiaries, a multitude of different needs. Chances are, if we could have found that Rotarian out of that 9% cross section and found that need to be needed and locked and keyed them in to their club, that they may still be with us. They may still have a brass Rotary wheel on their lapel at this very moment. So I would strongly urge that any outgoing Rotarians from your club, if they're coming to Western Washington, to another Western Washington community, or any Rotary club, I think that's good form. Even if they're moving to Tucson, see if you can't reach out to one of the Rotary clubs and work with that Rotarian to find them a new home, somewhere good. 3% indicated that attendance was simply too strict, and 11% of the people who responded to this survey indicated that they felt the direction of their club was wrong. 1% said there wasn't enough social opportunities, not a very big number. 0% said that there was not enough service opportunities. So what this slide suggests to me is that the clubs in our district know how to work hard and we know how to party. So from Rotary International, these are numbers that they pulled from a much broader cross-section, a bigger control. What they learned, why members leave, and I stole this from one of their slides. Again, correct, sorry, there we go. I promise my last time. All right, 31% said that it was simply too high of a cost. 21% said it was the wrong environment. 15% said it had unmet expectations. So the 15% with the unmet expectations, I suspect that just knowing what I know and having worked with and sponsoring so many different Rotarians, I find that I can get that Rotarian plugged into the club right away if I'm absolutely clear about everything in advance. Here's, roughly what it's going to cost. Here's, what we're kind of expecting of you. We don't want someone to ride the pines and show up and just eat food. We want you to be an active Rotarian who's got something going on. And if they think this is, a business, a BNI leads group, they're going to be disappointed. Yes, that's certainly a byproduct. We are seeing and we see and are seen by many professionals that we might engage in business with one day. But that, I think you'd agree that may not be the same core focus of a BNI leads group. So I suspect a lot of people have unmet expectations because what they're told coming into it is not exactly the reality of what their club will come into. 43% said that they would not recommend their own Rotary Club. 43% of those who left, and 35%, according to RI's survey, said that they would not recommend Rotary. Now, boy, that's a hard, I'm sure for you, it's hard to digest. It is for me. But I think we need to take an earnest, open, honest look at this. Are we doing all we can to be inclusive? Are we doing all that we can to make sure that every Rotarian has a job that they love and that they're ready to plug back into, and that they're ready to spread this fever in the best possible way? If there are some small course corrections you can make as a club with your club leadership, it might be well advised. Yes, we do amazing things. We're going to continue to do amazing things, especially in the coming year. There's so many good things going on in our district in 2020, 2021, that I think we can be candid with ourselves and really examine why people are leaving our club, and maybe have an open or more honest conversation about them. Don't be so quick to give up the fight and lose that individual. Maybe there's a way that we can bring them back. Maybe there's, of the unmet expectations or the club environment, are there some small things that we could do to adjust that, to help make that a little bit better experience for that Rotarian? Back to our own survey response, and I lied. Kirk, I'm gonna need to move this down. I really didn't think through where I was putting my Zoom widget. 11% thought that Rotary was not a good use of their time, and 5% thought that there were just too few business opportunities. Well, let's address those now. So again, not a good use of my time. Is what they're saying there? I believe the other thing I'm doing is more important to me than Rotary. So number one, were they the right kind of person that we wanted in the organization to begin with? Two, why didn't they see this as the most profound use of their time possible? This is the best thing I do all day long. You know, compared to placing Facebook ads, I'd much prefer to go work at the food bank with all of my dearest friends while I know that we're spending this extra time, calories, and energy and money to help little kids who need something to eat. Can we tell that story? Can we continue to tell this story? Can we set modesty aside to retell our own personal elevator speech, to re-inspire and reinvigorate those in our club that the time that you're spending is valuable, and it matters to people, and it matters to people so far beyond the boundaries of this Wednesday luncheon or this Thursday morning breakfast. 5% of the survey respondents said that there were too few business networking opportunities. So I come from the old school of Rotary, not the old school Rotary, but I started in 2004. And back in that era, we were instantly fined if we made the mistake and slipped up and mentioned our business. It was just an immediate fine. And on top of that, brows were furrowed and lips were pursed because it was poor form to have anything to do with business. Well, Governor Bill, Governor Kathy, Governor Howard might tell you that our district, if you're looking to the district for a compass on this, the district now has, you know, maybe a little bit more business-friendly policy, and maybe we should, you know, not stifle business networking opportunities at these Rotary clubs. Maybe we should need to lean into that. Your own individual, this is the thing, you know, Bill told me right when I started helping out with the district that our job at the district is never to tell a club what to do. Our job is to simply be a support system for those clubs, to help them do what they do, only do it better. And so if your position of your club is we simply never want to mention business opportunities, it's your club. You guys are the leaders. And, you know, leadership is a choice, as we've roundly determined here in this workshop here tonight. 5% of the people that left had a disagreement with the club. Now, interpersonal drama and politics are absolutely bound to happen in Rotary. But if we can apply the four-way test to that, to just the people who clearly have that disagreement with club leadership, I wonder if we couldn't diminish that number just a little bit. And by the way, I mean, I'm sure you have seen it as somebody who is in Rotary for 20 years and then suddenly they just make that conscious decision, I'm out, I'm done. There's something that we can do. There are fences that can be mended. Now, this is the slide that was the chagrin of Governor Bill McElroy. He's all about Rotary clubs having fun. And I have to say, I couldn't agree with that more. That is one of the key things. I mean, I really feel it's a critical component to the recipe of what makes Rotary special is the fact that we all like and love each other and that we're all still going to continue to have fun. If your all hands on deck endeavor, your fundraiser, if you're attending Kirk's virtual race fundraiser, fun run, which is going to be a smash success. So we all need to get behind Kirk Laughlin to support this initiative, which is going to be fantastic, Kirk. If somebody around the field that day just isn't having any fun, maybe we can find a way to reach out to that Rotarian and see if we can't bring them back in and apply that four-way test to what's going on. I reckon it'll help. So over the past year and a half, and I believe into the future, Rotary has adopted a much more flexible position on attendance, on things like mentioning of businesses in meetings, on clubs being clubs and clubs really having the authority and the decision to be autonomous and do your own thing. And so if you're looking to the district for guidance on attendance, we have a more flexible position is our response. So if your club, if it's important to your club, you certainly should proceed on with attendance, that you're creating the culture of the club. And Rotary at the club level or at any level is decided by the people that turn up to the meeting. The people that show up at the board meeting decide and dictate the direction of your Rotary club. And so if attendance is important to your club, then make it so. If it's not, if it's been the thing, if that's been that 5% that left because attendance was too rigid, maybe have a look at having and adopting a more flexible position for you and for your club regarding membership and attendance. All right, so let's talk a little bit, and I'm positive that Bailey's going to have some awesome things coming down the pike here for us in regards to membership for District 5030 in the way of extension clubs and satellite clubs. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time talking about that. If there's any skeptics or cynics in the room tonight about these extension clubs and the satellite clubs, my only goal is just to say, hey, there's another path. We are Rotarians. If we, stopped every single time we found any kind of an obstacle, we would have stopped back in 1914, but that's just not how we go. We're the guys that eradicate polio. So we can solve how we continue to grow Rotary. So over the years, the man has come to the mountain, or the woman has come to the mountain, right? The mountain being our meeting, and the man being the prospective Rotarian or the Rotarian. Wednesdays at noon, we meet here at this time. We eat the same potato salad. We, tell the same bad jokes, and then we listen to the same presenter every single week. Rather than the man moving to the mountain every single time to accommodate Rotary, perhaps Rotary, the mountain, can move to the man. That is what satellite clubs and extension clubs offer us as Rotary clubs. We have to move the mountain to the man, but that's okay because that's easy and fun. And when we meet them on their terms a little bit easier, just think about this, right? So let's just say your club meets at Wednesday at noon. You've got a community of 35,000 people, composed of about 6,000 different people who are predisposed to become Rotarians. They're cut from that right kind of cloth. But for whatever reason, 3,000 of them just simply will never be able to meet on Wednesday at lunch. We are missing all of those incredible Rotarians. Sometimes the mountain has to move to the man. Let's talk about Amazon. They got this figured out. Amazon is open for business 178 hours out of every single week. They never miss a sales opportunity. Meanwhile, if membership is sales, and I believe it is to a degree, Rotary, if you're only open just during the time that you're open for lunch, you're open for 1 hour. Your store is open to sell its goods, wares, products, and service for 1 hour out of every single week. The extension clubs offer us a new avenue to plug in and connect with Rotarians who otherwise wouldn't fit into the predisposed confines that we try to the square hole that we're trying to stuff people into at one fixed time at a fixed location. I'm not suggesting we ever go away from that. And in fact, I hope that once this dust settles, we're all back eating the same kind of egg salad. And I'm listening to Craig Chastain's bad jokes again. I can't wait for that day. Extension clubs, satellite clubs offer us an opportunity to meet the other guys who can join us on Wednesday at noon. So why getting young matters? So I was on the other side of this issue. I'll be honest with you. I thought, you know what, Rotary is middle-aged people. You know, this is who they are. This is, you know, what we're going to be. We're always going to be the, you know, the 30-somethings, 40-somethings, 50-somethings, 60-somethings, 70-somethings, 80-somethings. But my mind was changed in Denver, Colorado at the Rotary District Zone Conference in regards to millennials and why they're not just one potential target market. They are the most important potential target market for Rotary clubs. And I hope that I convince you of the same. The world's and these are stats and statistics that will shore this up. The world's population has grown to 7.8 billion people. Rotary began in 1905. The world's population was just 1.6 billion people. So in the time of Rotary's existence, we have exponentially grown in population. 51% of the world's population is now under the age of 30. The world's population will grow by 28% by 2050. So before I get into extolling the virtues of these millennials and Generation Y, let's talk a little bit about that. We've been roughly 1 million members globally, RI, for a while now. And in fact, I think we lost a little ground in the way of numbers. And I wonder if it's because we're only fishing in the one pond. There's more opportunities with these millennials, and there's going to be many, 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 many more millennials on the planet than there are people who look like us, sound like us, talk like us, act like us. So why would we target these people sight unseen? Because they're all predisposed to be Rotarians. They are mostly cut from the same kind of cloth of the best Rotarians that you know. Here's what I've learned about Generation Y and Generation Z. So Generation Z is the generation, my son who's 16 years old, he is in Generation Z. They don't know a lot about the predisposed characteristic traits of Gen Z just all yet, for obvious reasons. They're just too young to have any kind of an informed opinion. My son, you know, can't decide what his favorite breakfast cereal is. So we'll know more about Generation Z, but all signs indicate that they're very much cut from similar cloth of the millennials. Here's what we learned about millennials. Generation Y has been called the most altruistic, thoughtful, philanthropic generation since the greatest generation. The guys that came home from World War II, came home, conquered the Nazis, saved the world, came back to America, and joined Rotary clubs. It was one of the biggest spikes in membership ever, is post-World War II, is when, you know, Rotary grew. And it grew, and it was filled and comprised of people who are cut from similar cloth as this next generation that's coming in, all predisposed to be awesome Rotarians, who are going to put service above self, who are going to follow that four-way test to the letter. Gen Y values positive experience over material possessions, may be helpful in some kind of a due structure for younger people. Common Gen Y descriptors, adjectives, things that describe this generation: ambitious, conscious, collaborative, idealistic, motivated, open-minded, passionate, trailblazers. All, I don't know about you, I've just described some of my favorite Rotarians right there. All reside in this generation. Great news, there's billions of them, and they all could be wearing a Rotary pin on their lapel, helping others, doing the next level of greatness for our clubs. You know, my Rotary Club started in 1958, and I was lucky enough to serve with two of the original 1958 members. They have since passed. But I look at them and I look at the culture of our club and just how good everybody in this little group of 35 or 40 are, and how they're just some of my absolute favorite people. They are that way, and that club functions that way because we stand on the shoulders of the good work of guys from my club. You won't know these names: Jack Niskern and Clark Snur, a couple of the original fathers, and they just showed this club how to carry itself into the future. Right now, we have the opportunity to be the shoulders in which this next generation of Rotarians stands upon. And if we have a closed mind about bringing new, younger people into our club, then our shoulders aren't going to be a very good place to stand. We need to have an open mind. And I hope I've challenged you, if you don't want to get younger, if we don't want to attract new young people into Rotary today with just these ideals. So let's talk a little bit about collective credibility and how you might, how am I doing on time, Kirk? Am I going over? Let's see, 7:43, 17 minutes. I'm gonna button up a little sooner than I planned to, just so that we have a little time for Q&A if there is any. Before I do, let's talk about collective credibility. What does that mean?
Hey, I'm sorry, I had muted myself, but you're about 7:40.
Okay, so what is collective credibility? Well, let's talk a little bit about introverts and extroverts in your Rotary Club. We've got them both. Rotary attracts, it's really interesting. I'm sure you've got a sergeant at arms in your club that is just big E extrovert. And I'm sure you have that modest person who would give you the shirt off her back to help a stranger in need, but she is just simply not going to be that extrovert that's going to grab new people and push them into your club. So how can we get a sales pitch from the most modest people and the extroverts in the lot? How can we put forward this great foot that is not only a great public relations presence, but is also something that showcases the collective credibility? Because together we can go much further. We've established that. So I want you to try to tap into your club's collective credibility when it comes to membership and membership recruitment. Here's a way that you might proceed. Here is a 60-second video that we produced at my club, Des Moines Normandy Park, 2 years ago. And this is something that we typically do every single year, where we just produce a new video to have all of the new Rotarians so that we can steal a little bit of their collective credibility. This is a piece that's meant for membership recruitment, and it certainly does that. But it's also a great way that you can simply build goodwill around the name Rotary in your community, and so that they know and have a good positive feeling about our organization the next time we ask them for a sponsorship for Kirk's Fun Run, or the next time that we reach out to them to join our Rotary Club. They're going to have a little firmer understanding if we approach it like this. And I'll talk about how you get this type of a message out to your community after we're all done. But 60 seconds, here you go.
Bad things happen.
Oops, sorry, Craig. I cut Craig Chastain off.
Bad things happen when good people do nothing.
If you're ready to do something,
then we have something for you to do.
We are the Rotary Club of Des Moines and Normandy Park. We're Democrats, we are Republicans, we are independents. We are people of diverse faith.
We're people of diverse culture.
We are young and we are old. We are business owners.
We are educators. We are retirees.
And community leaders, and we are stronger because of our differences.
We come together to exchange ideas and take action.
We help feed kids and families in need.
We fight human trafficking in our area.
We give a dictionary to every third grader in our community.
We provide college scholarships. We put musical instruments in the hands of students.
We put warm coats on cold kids. We are stamping out polio around the world
And piping in clean water to thirsty villages.
We host ridiculously fun fundraisers,
such as the Poverty Bay Wine Festival and the Poverty Bay Blues and Brews.
With your help, we can do a bunch more.
And there is more to do.
Join the Rotary Club of Des Moines and Normandy Park.
So from this method, we have that particular club and many other clubs who have endeavored in almost an identical platform. I've helped a few clubs do something similar. Our past two club presidents came from the video. It works. So that's just nothing more than Facebook, nothing more than Instagram. Could be a YouTube campaign. Budget some money. I absolutely recommend that you budget a little money so that people see this message, and make sure that it gets out there. We need to be talking to the prospective Rotarians in the rooms that they're in. And Facebook, Instagram, YouTube is where we can actively have an engaging conversation with prospective Rotarians. AM radio is not going to do it. Back of the bus isn't going to be the thing. We're not going to be able to do it with, an insert in the newspaper. This has got to be something where people can engage and understand it. And then, if we look back at the slide earlier where it said expectations weren't met, and that's why I left Rotary. I wonder if those Rotarians, if they had seen a piece like that before they became Rotarians, I wonder if their expectations still would have been unmet. It lays it out there pretty simply. And it's very honest and earnest. It tells you here's who we are. And on top of that, we need you. So if anybody would ever need assistance in any of these things, if you wanted to make your own video, I'm always happy to help anybody who's interested in growing Rotary with the next great team of Rotarians. I'll do anything I can to help you make that happen. Also, there are more membership resources that are available to you if you're interested in downloading these. I put all of these things, I've downloaded them for you. That way you don't need to get into myrotary.org. And you can download all of these wonderful assets, which will absolutely make your membership of your club better, and it will help your club in the long run. If I can help in any way, couldn't be happier to help you grow Rotary. We've got, I'll close it up here today, guys, there's a lot of uncertainty with all that we're dealing with. And I'm sure you're feeling it. And even the coolest cucumbers that I know have broken down a couple of times in all of this. But we have a compass. We know where to go. We have this thing, this 4-way test. And so long as it's the truth, it's fair to all concerned, it will build goodwill and better friendships, and will be beneficial to all concerned, I think Rotary is going to be all right. Questions? Got one Q&A. How can you convince parents with young children that Rotary still can work for them? Well, I don't know, Scott. Kirk, is it okay if I just start answering questions here?
Yes. I was a little slow on the job there, so go ahead.
No worries. Well, Rotary is a team sport, and I also think Rotary is a family sport. My son, I've got this awesome story that I'm so proud of as a father. And as a Rotarian, I'll share with you guys right now. So my son is 16, Max Martin Messer. He's a purple belt in Taekwondo, so don't mess with him. He turned 14, and I said, hey, son, at your high school, my Rotary Club, Dad's Rotary Club, sponsors something called Interact. And it would really mean a lot to me if you would go into that meeting and learn a little bit more about it. And he goes, Interact, what is it? And I said, it's like a Rotary Club for high school kids. And he said to me, wait a minute, aren't I in Rotary? He had been at every stupid fundraiser and every single food bank session. And I'm so proud that I have brought my son up in this culture of caring in Rotary. So I think we use that as a strength. We say, hey, man, this is a family game. This is built for families. Not the cocktail sessions and not every single fireside, maybe not every meeting, but this is built for families. Any other questions? I don't know if I've got.
Yeah, I feel like I should clarify that the fun run I was talking about earlier, it's for my own organization, not a Rotary fundraiser. So I may be guilty of crossing that business promotion line by accident.
Kirk, you get a pass in this Rotary Club. You're a Rotarian, so we're in. Any other questions or answers? And then, by the way, if I can, if there's no questions, or if there's an answer, or if you just want to put your head next to my bald head for a little bit, I'm happy to talk to you offline. You've got all of my contact information, and I'm happy to get that to you as well.
Blake, I'd like to clarify that those links that you shared, that they're available at the link you put here, the bit we had in the last slide here.
Or if it's simpler, just text the word Blake to 555-888. You'll get an auto response text message right away, and you'll be able to download and look at them all on your phone. Yeah. Scott, did I answer your question? Scott Wands, did I answer your question? I hope, or I give you some kind of arrow for the quiver. It's weird. We have to wait for them to type the answer. Will my elevator speech be in slides? As a matter of fact, the district developed it as a video, and it's yours to download and use as you see fit, Amy. So I will make that link available. How can I do it? Email me if you want that video. Download the video of the link. And shoot me an email and I'll get it to you, or shoot me a text and I'll get it to you as well. All right. Let's see. Nancy Merrill. I just want to say thank you. This is fantastic. Oh, by the way, I don't have any more time for questions and answers. I only have time for questions and compliments from here on out. Kidding. Let's see. Just want to say thank you. This was fantastic, and I'll be encouraging all of our members to listen and save YouTube and enter to win a loaf of homemade beer. Yes, I should raffle this beard off when I'm done. Kathy Gibson, what is your club planning 2021? Well, so, and Kathy, our incoming governor, we're all excited for her. I think the membership chair, who is Bev Mahoney, who's our incoming president, will likely be working on another video. And then we just rinse, wash, and repeat that video annually so that our clothes stay in fashion.
There's a question in the comments just about how many members attended this training, and I think we're at a high point of 34 people registered. A couple of people.
Kirby Puckett's number. All right. Any other questions? Let's see. All right. No other questions. I hope everyone found this was worth their time. And if it wasn't, I'm a volunteer. I'll give you double your volunteer time back, guarantee.
And
all right.
I'm not sure if you can see the comments, Blake, or looking at that. Elizabeth Crouch said a huge congratulations, Blake, on your 6-year-old son who believes he is a Rotarian.
Yeah, I love that.
So says thanks.
Cool. Right on. All right, guys. I'm available if you need me. I'm always happy to help if it has something to do with Grow Rotary. So good luck in your coming year, and good luck with all that's going on. We're going to be all right.
All right. And you're getting a lot of thank yous in the chat. I can't quite keep up with them. But from Brenda, Jesse, and Kathy Gibson. Gosh, all right. Hey, how about the tech support? I'd like a little shout out for the tech support. Wasn't it great?
Oh, my goodness. Let me tell you something. I've been in a lot of Zoom meetings, but I don't feel like I have really truly experienced Zoom meeting without the gentle and sensitive and thoughtful hands of Kirk Laughlin, everybody. So please make some noise. Really, seriously, we are all volunteers, and someone is taking their time to organize Zoom meetings. We'd be lost without that. So thanks, Kirk.
Well, and my blatant plug got me the self-assurance that I needed for the night. Thank you.
Hey, one last thing. Where do I see the chat section? I might be in the wrong one. There we go. 32 things in the chat. Great tech support. Thanks, Kirk.
You got
there
it.
We go.
Welcome. You got it? Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, everyone. I'm going to end the meeting, but again, it'll actually, if you can go to the chat, I think the link to the YouTube channel was posted there. I might be wrong. You think about the last session, but if it's not there, you'll be getting it in an email. So you'll be able to read it and share it.
Super. Thanks again, Kirk, and thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Oh, one more question here. Yes, tech support. Okay. We're good.
All right. Thank you.